recording on the new laptop that I just bought. Very excited. I bought a new MacBook Pro, the latest one, actually, not trying to brag, but it's been ages since I had my own personal laptop, like actually one that was functional. It's been since college, and I've been out of college for a lot of years now. So very proud of myself for investing in myself and buying a laptop. She's beautiful. I love her. Um, not she's unnamed so far, but I am so excited to be recording from the laptop, and the camera quality on this MacBook Pro is unreal. Not sure why it's like so advanced compared to the one I was using before, because that one was also a MacBook Pro, but it is amazing. So I am really excited that eventually, and that's definitely coming in 2024, when I take the podcast from audio only to video, the camera quality is going to be great. So very excited. And Marco, wanted to say hi to the world. I feel like he is always trying to get some sort of shout out. Usually he's pretty covert about it. I feel like it just happens. He knows it's going to happen naturally when I just talk about my life. But today he insisted that I share his hellos. So I'm going to be nice and do that. But this podcast is mine. And while I love him, he will have his own podcast one day. It's not the time for him to hijack this podcast. As much as I love him, he has his own side hustles and gigs and lots of other things keeping him preoccupied. So I'm like, you can stay as the editor, which I very much appreciate. And I'm very glad that he can edit. It's crazy how life works out, because before I met him, I had been listening to podcasts, but I was in my honeymoon phase with podcasts. Like as a listener, I was really vibing with them. I had a lot of different podcasts that I listened to. Some were a lot of them were lifestyle. Some of them covered, reality TV as well, which I love. So loved listening to them and didn't really think about me making my own podcast, but I would talk about them a lot. And as Marco and I started dating, I would share like podcasts that I would listen to with him and vice versa, because he listens to podcasts, and we bonded over that. I think I would talk about them pretty frequently, that he could tell that it was something I was passionate about. And, one thing led to another. And then I contemplated creating my own podcast. He was so supportive and such a big cheerleader to me, honestly, in a time when I was like in my comfort zone and had contemplated with the idea, but I was like, how I can never, like, how would I even accomplish that? Like, where am I going to find the time? Who's going to edit, my podcast? And that's going to potentially be something that I'm paying for out of pocket. Like, can I afford this, hobby essentially? But little did I know he has done this as a side hustle for lots of other people, and he loves sound mixing. So I am very grateful that he had the skills to be able to help me bring my passion and my dream to life, and that he's been such a loving and supportive like partner. Somehow I always end up here where I'm talking about Marco, even though I don't want to be talking about him, but I just wanted to share that story because I forget sometimes like how far I've come in 8 months, and almost a year, because by the end of last year I was already like in my mind like, okay, I want to do a podcast. For months I had been kind of trying to find a friend to see if they wanted to co-host it with me, because I just felt like co-hosting it would, I'd get to share the load, it'd be more manageable. And for those of you who've been listening from the start, Rose, who we used to be my work wife, ended up being my co-host, and we had a great time co-hosting this podcast together. And life happened, she had to step away, and I had a choice whether to continue this or maybe put it on pause for when I could find another co-host. Or it was something that I had just gotten in my comfort zone again, of getting handle of the podcast, and then life happens, and you have a choice. Are you going to pivot and move in the direction of life and, see how it goes? Or are you going to let fear really make that choice for you? And I teeter tottered on both sides, but ultimately, I'm so grateful for the people around me as well that have been so supportive in me continuing hosting on my own. It has been challenging, especially with the move from New York to California over the summer, but thankfully I have a support system that, is there for me when I need to vent or just even recharge. And I am so grateful for that. And I'm also just so grateful for my positive mindset and how far I've come along in my manifesting journey. A few years ago, I couldn't have imagined like making time for a passion of mine this much time during the week and juggling a full-time job and career and relationship, uh, moving across country, and I've managed to do all of that this year. And I'm not repeating these things to brag or, um, make it seem like I've done so much compared to whatever anyone else has done, but just really reflecting with myself. I am so proud of myself because I've done so much this year and I've kept my promise to myself, which was to spend more time in 2023 tapping into my creativity and passions. And I have done that through the podcast. So it's wild to think that by the end of this year, I will be at 50 episodes. That is my goal because it's something that's exciting for me to take active steps to accomplish and not for personal reasons of just I'm finding myself grow so much as I continue the podcast, and I am loving that momentum and I want to keep it. So I just wanted to share that with you, everyone that's listening, because I feel like I can't believe I went to Target today and there's already holiday decor, like Christmas holiday decor. And don't get me wrong, I love Christmas. So I'm here for all I thought I was going to have to wait longer actually for Christmas decorations. And now I'm like, Halloween isn't even over yet and they're restocking. So here for that 100%. Um, I perused through the dollar section, got a few home decor, great finds for like I think the most I spent was like $5 on this really cute snowman jar that like you can put cookies in. That's clear. It's really cute. I will take pictures and share on social, but it's just wild to see this year fly by and also amazing. So I just wanted to take a moment to reflect on that with everyone that's listening and celebrate the growth that has happened. The fact that I have followed through with my goals and, I'm manifesting so many things. Um, that's the thing with manifestation sometimes. You have these goals that you set and they don't always come to fruition. Like it's not like you manifest. Manifesting isn't I want this thing and then it's here tomorrow or it's here in a week or it's here in a month sometimes. It takes months. It's there's no specific time frame. You just in order to make that reality or that goal or dream come true, you also have to be taking active steps towards that goal. And that's the part that sometimes people stumble in. And it is normal that you stumble because life is so unpredictable and we can't control, life. Life happens to us, but we can control how we respond to life. And that is so much easier said than done. So I'm not trying to say that, it's easy to take actionable, intentional steps towards your dreams. It takes a lot of work on yourself really to make sure that you're living a life in alignment and, spending your energy on things that are filling your cup up and leading you closer to that end result or reality that you want. So but it's definitely worth it, and on that note, I wanted to do a manifesting exercise in today's episode. I've talked about mentioning manifesting more and, like, sharing my journey, and as we lead into the end of the year and, we're focusing on 2024, I'm not trying to move too far ahead. Like, I want to, it's important to be present in the moment and enjoy what's left of 2023. But I think it's important to take time to also dream any time of the year, and especially as we go into the holidays. So, today I wanted to share an exercise. It is from the book that I read to learn all about manifesting, which is Ask and It Is Given by Esther Hicks and Jerry Hicks. They're a married couple, and it changed my life. It gave me the tools and knowledge to learn what manifesting was and relearn all of these things that had really forgotten. Like, you can only control your actions, you can't control the actions of other people. That's very easily said, but actually breaking that down, like reading through it, scenarios, just really sitting with it. There's so many things like that are in the first part of this book. Um, it's all about like reminding you of things you've forgotten. And the second part of the book is a lot of tools and tips on how to apply this new mindset, and which really a lot of manifesting goes back to, mindset, like thoughts, actions, all of those are need to be somewhat in sync to help move you closer to your dreams and goals. So, wouldn't it be nice if is something that you can do, in a notebook or on your phone, on your computer? You just need ideally a blank piece of paper. Um, and I usually do mine in a notebook because I like just writing it down and, being able to like take a moment to journal and sit with myself. And usually I do it. You can do it for many different things. I've done it before when I've been looking for new jobs, like when I'm, in a place where I need to grow, and maybe I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed and there's just a lot going on and I need to really like sit down with myself and bullet out some, maybe it's 3 things, 5 things, things that I really want, and really focus on those and hone in and block out some of the other distractions or, chaos that might be happening around me or even in my own mind. So it is a great exercise and one of my favorites from the book. And going through an example, you're gonna take a piece of paper or your phone, and at the top of it, write, "Wouldn't it be nice if?" I like to add like the dot dot dot. You're gonna leave that at the top of the paper and fill out the rest of that statement. I usually will do it like in bullet points. So you're really like filling out the rest of the sentence. Wouldn't it be nice if an example that I had done before I moved from New York to California was, wouldn't it be nice if I found a few apartments that were in my budget and close to my family? Those were things that at that point I was looking for apartments. I was no longer, looking for houses, and I was looking for something in my budget and close to my family. Those are things that's the reality that I wanted when I was gonna be moving back to California. So, focusing on the end result is really the key also of this exercise. So, wouldn't it be nice if before I met Marco, like, wouldn't it be nice if I found a partner that really understood me and then that I felt seen with? Really focusing on the end result that I wanted, not the thing that I'm lacking, or which is a common thing that I feel like sometimes people that are pessimistic or just maybe not as in tune with manifesting might find themselves doing subconsciously, because life's life's not easy. There are a lot of obstacles that we all encounter on a day-to-day basis, and it is a conscious choice sometimes to be positive, move on from something, and that's not being like out of touch with the world, but just it is hard to remember that we control our own actions. Like, I can acknowledge that, and to not maybe give in to what's right in front of us because even if it makes us feel like out of control, we still can only control ourselves. And that is something that is takes a lot of practice to remember, especially when you're in moments when you're feeling flustered or stressed or, having anxiety. I empathize with that, and I'm not perfect. I still have my moments when I don't, respond. I'm more reactive and less intentional with how I'm communicating or responding to something. And I try really hard to not be that way only because I find that I feel like lighter when I just really try to practice patience and be open minded and practice on, what I almost want to be hearing maybe from this person, or at least like instead of reacting, let them let them speak or let this moment play out and then, make my decide how I'm going to react. So not to get too far off of this exercise, but just wanted to share that with everyone. I actually just recently did Wouldn't It Be Nice If exercise this week, which is why it was top of mind for this episode. I am getting my notebook out so that I can talk about some of the things that I wrote down. So, some of my goals, and funny enough, I've found that I'm already starting to make progress towards them. I feel like this exercise just really helps me get focused, especially when I just have a lot in my mind and I have a lot of like goals and dreams and I just want to accomplish them all. But even writing down, this time I wrote down 10, and it's not over a certain amount of time, but I do like to kind of assign myself like, wouldn't it be nice if I do this one thing in like October? I invest in myself now and like use more PTO days if I need to learn and grow for like other opportunities. Wouldn't it be nice if I secure like 8 guest speakers, and to interview in November and December? So these are just things that I wanted to share with you so you can get a better sense of what you might write down when you do this exercise yourself. But I highly recommend it. And even if you aren't struggling with something, it's a great exercise to really like hone in and focus on, start to get more intentional with how you spend your time. And if you have like goals that you want to reach or just something you want to accomplish, I recommend this. Feel free to DM me if you have any questions on this exercise or want to know any more exercises that I recommend, because there are other ones that I love to practice in my like day to day that I learned from this book. So, highly recommend the book. It was life changing for me, and I am so happy that I read it. I'm not a huge reader. I really don't read a lot. I used to love reading as a kid, and then I feel like I just read so much as I got older, and it just wasn't something that I loved doing as much. So, but when I do find a good book, I'm like hooked, and I have talked about this book a lot. I bought the book for like my boyfriend and my best friend because I also just want to share this knowledge with other people. I feel like I had this epiphany when I finished reading the book and I was like, wow, I just it's just that easy if you really like start doing the work. And I don't want to minimize like the amount of work that I've put in my manifesting journey. And habit change habit change isn't always easy, but it's doable. You just have to start doing it. So I hope that this is resonating with you if you're listening, and I hope that you're excited to try this exercise, do something different today, give it a try. Maybe, it works for you, maybe it doesn't, but at least you've just pushed yourself out of your comfort zone a little bit. I feel like we all should push ourselves out of our comfort zones every now and then. I feel like it just does the soul and your brain and just your whole body a little good. Like let's not go like do illegal things necessarily, but pushing yourself out of your comfort zone in ways like this, I highly recommend. So if you do this exercise, please DM me to let me know if you did it and if you're seeing, results, or if I just want to hear your experiences and thoughts. And I am here for you. So extending that olive branch. Don't be a stranger and don't feel awkward reaching out. Like, we're all human beings, and I think it needs to be normalized that people share advice and kindness and just want like the good, like just want good things for other people. So that is where I'm coming from. And I hope that you try this out yourself. I have been meaning to do it with Marco. Um, I walked him through the exercise the other day, actually, so I need to check in with him to see if he did it for himself. But he did make himself a. We did redesign his resume recently. I helped beautify it, and I have found a new hobby. Um, I just really love resumes. It's very odd, or it could be odd, but I do love just the idea of like a resume really, when you're applying to certain jobs, and especially the creative ones, those I feel like there's there's lots of ways in to be creative. Really, you can take your resume in your own control, which is what I love, and stand out in your own way. Like from Legally Blonde with Elle Woods and her pink scented resume, I'm like, it's actually genius. I mean, everyone's gonna remember you, you know? Like you want to stand out is the goal. So maybe do something that's gonna help you stand out like within, reason. So wanted to share that newfound learning and my newfound hobby. And if you are in the need of any resume help, hit me up. I've helped many people with their resumes, just giving them like feedback, helping them tweak the design. It's something that I I got a lot of feedback as I was in college and would go to these like career fairs, and sometimes I was not always ready for the feedback. Like it came in real hot and honest, and I was like, "Whoa, like let me not like go just want to, crawl in a hole." But looking ahead, it prepared me for the realities of corporate America, which I do appreciate. And I now want to also share my expertise and help extend that out. So if you are in the need of a new resume template or just want advice, DM me. I'm here. I would love to help you. Granted, I do have a full-time job as well, so please keep that in mind. Like, it may take me a minute to get back to you, but I will definitely help you. So, if you're listening, well, you'd have to be listening really to hear this, probably, unless you tell a friend also that you know that is in need of some resume help, or please let me know that you don't have to be listening to the podcast to get my help. So, pay it forward and do an act of kindness today. While we are at Target today, we also got Halloween candy, so very excited for that. I feel like if it were up to Marco and I, we would just buy all of the Halloween candy because it's just all of the bags look so fun, but we had to refrain from that. So excited for it. We're prepared. We got 3 big bags of candy, and on the costume front, not quite sure we're doing yet, but I feel like we're gonna just use something from our closets potentially, but maybe something with a mask. I'm feeling a mask or some fun makeup, or like a fun gender swap, like me getting a fake mustache. Just something fun for very unexpected if you are going to open the door, and trick or treat. Maybe my dirndl from Oktoberfest, because I didn't think I'd ever have a reason to use it again, but I still have it. So that is actually going to be my costume because it's comfortable and I can, hang out at night in it. So that's my costume. I will take pictures. I will share them on my social. So stay tuned and keep you posted to see how it goes. And we'll see what Marco is. As I've been sharing learnings and tips with you today, I also wanted to talk about like personal goal setting and doing it for yourself, but also doing it if you're with a partner. It's something that as I've been juggling so much and then feeling a little scattered at times, I've sat down and written down my personal goals, and I have my monthly goals. I've been encouraging Marco to be open-minded about making his own goals. So we're taking baby steps, but he's being very receptive, which I love and appreciate. And it's something that's new to me because I was single for so long, like, over 13 years, 12 years. So I was single for so long. I was used to just looking out for me really and like my friends obviously and my close people that are close to me and but really just like my goal setting, and that's been a lot of my manifesting journey as well. And now that Marco and I are living together and we're talking about, you know, family planning and things like that, I am realizing that part of for me being a good partner is also helping encourage my partner to set their own personal goals, and sometimes doing that either like together to help get them started or just help encourage them to keep growing. Especially personally for me, Marco and I have had many conversations about how we want to keep growing and that that's important to us. And we've talked about our dreams and our life goals. So, knowing all of that and having all those conversations, because I was in a place where I was ready to settle down and so was he. And I just wanted to know all of those things like, what are your life goals? What are your dreams? I'm someone that, I've gotten to a point where I have decided I'm not going to shy away from asking questions because maybe it's taboo that they're asked, or you don't want someone to get stressed or think you're more invested. It's like at this point, I am invested. We've had these conversations. Uh, I want a partner, that is going to be willing to have conversations with me like that. So that's important to me. And now that we are getting settled in California, just trying to remember that while I have my own goals, we also like collectively have goals together, and Marco has his own goals too, and balancing all of that can be a juggling act, but helping him achieve his goals is something that I have helped where I can because that is something that I really excel in. And that's the beautiful thing with relationships is no one like there's no relationship that's, the exact same. Everyone's relationship is different because we are all individuals and different as individuals. So, really acknowledging that is why I choose to lean in and help push him when he may need to be pushed or encourage him because I would expect the same for me if I needed a push. And to be the best partner, for him, that's something that he also needs sometimes, whether he knows it or not. So I wanted to share that with everyone that's listening because I feel like it can get, from my experience, it can be easy to get caught up in our own goals or our own like stress from the day or, just our own lives, even when we're in a relationship. And I haven't been in a relationship for very long, so I'm not an expert, but I am an expert at being single. So I'm an expert at being single and I'm an expert at being direct and saying what I think, not in a malicious way, but really just, being 100% honest. And sometimes that's a good thing and sometimes that's not the best thing, but I am always honest and I do want the best for, my people around me and also my partner. So that means helping him achieve his goals. And that's not me doing, the work for him, but being a supportive partner. And that has taken me time to learn. And I'm grateful that Marco's been patient, and it is something that I wanted to share with everyone that's listening in case you resonate with this. What is your dynamic that you want out of a relationship? And is if you're in one or not in one, are you taking steps to have that kind of dynamic, whether it's in the type of people that you're dating or the boundaries that you're setting when, in your relationship or before you even get to that stage. It's easier said than done to be intentional and actually follow, your intentional thoughts with action. It's doable, and I I'm not trying to come across like my relationship is perfect and we don't have any struggles. We definitely have struggles. I mean, we've gone through Marco moving to New York for a couple months. We juggled that and then moving cross country, having to sell a lot of my furniture and pick up my life from New York and come back to California, finding a place to live, getting settled, and being long distance for a majority of our relationship. So there are definitely things that we've struggled with and continue to struggle with because life happens. But I do like reflecting on moments when I am also trying to be present and share things that I'm learning with everyone that's listening, hoping that it'll give you a new perspective, whether you apply it to your life or not. It's a perspective that you can take in, listen to, do what you want with it. But I'm finding that it's helping me grow as a person as well. That, I'm not alone in this relationship. And it takes a balance with personal goal setting, especially when you're in a relationship. And maybe for those of you who have been in a relationship for much longer than me are probably like, yes, girl, you were telling us everything we know. So please stop preaching to the choir. But I am trying to remember that there are lots of people listening to this, and not everyone has the same mindset as I do. So, sharing my thoughts in case this piques your interest and or if you resonate with it. I can't believe this is the last episode of October. It feels like Thanksgiving is tomorrow and then it's Christmas and I'm like, I don't even know what I'm buying people for Christmas. Or what I want myself. So can we take a beat? But definitely gonna be perusing I have some go-to sites that I like to get gifts from. So I will share those in future episodes. But very excited for holiday decorating and eventually putting things on my walls. It'll happen when it happens. I at least with the holidays, there will be lots of decorations like a Christmas tree and just lots of other decorations because I love the holidays. So I feel like that'll make my walls feel a little less bare. I there's so much time that goes into finding the right wall decor and I don't want to rush into it, but it is hard staring at white walls sometimes. Like, luckily, I don't spend a ton of time in my bedroom during the day because we have the office and then living room. So I don't like stare at these white walls, and the other rooms have more decorations. But I'm definitely needing to tackle in December or January because I thrive and love when I'm in an environment where there's things around me that are also maybe inspiring me to be creative or just pleasing to the eye. And the white walls and blinds, while it is nice that they're clean and crisp. I'm needing some personality in this space. So I will keep everyone posted. That is the end of this episode. I hope you had a wonderful October. Mine was great. I can't wait to be back for another episode. Until then, talk soon. Bye. Because I can't resist. Act of kindness. If you are listening and have not left a rating or review wherever you're listening to this episode, I would love and appreciate anything. Definitely want your honest feedback, but I am really eager to hear, whether it's through stars or words, if you're vibing with it. So please leave a rating or review. Thank you again. Talk soon. Bye.